As you probably know, Epic Core is getting a relaunch on Steam sometime soon. You will again be able to play them, but not on Flash, so it will run pretty smoothly. And of course there is a new team, they're gonna make changes for the better, but also with great responsibility comes great power. Oh wait. Well anyway, I've made a list of 10 things I would love to see changed in Epic Core 1. So starting off with number 10, it's an arrow toggle. So in the Flash version, to achieve a constant stream of arrows, you would need to hold the hotkey and then click off the window. So you can do that with Alt Tab or just clicking off with the mouse. It's gonna make it so the hotkey is kept registered. And when you tap back in, the arrows will be shooting because you technically never let off of the key, even though you did. But yeah, that is getting fixed. So it would be kind of stupid not to add an arrow toggle, and that's why I put it to number 10, because I'm fairly certain it's gonna happen. So I guess the list is from number 10 probably gonna happen to number 1 definitely not gonna happen. I don't know, it's just a list I made. So number 9, it's all about the mana. There are two major problems with it in my opinion. The first one is the cost of some upgrades, some units, mainly talking about the gate, the turret and the trap. They're way too expensive, they're not versatile at all, and for what they do, unless they get major buffs, they are just unusable. You need to spend thousands of mana on something like a trap that will damage every now and then some enemy units that happen to be in the middle of the screen. It's kind of like a scam almost. And I guess the barrier is worth it, but again, you need to save so much mana that it just makes it not fun to get, even though it's an amazing feature. It's a whole separate part of the game. You have units, you have upgrades. When the upgrades are so expensive they're barely usable, then a whole part of the game that can be easily utilized is just left there in the corner to rot, just so every now and then somebody can buy it, just because they wanted to see what it is, not because they think it's gonna be useful. And my other complaint about mana is how slowly it builds up. No, I don't mean the mana over time you generate, I mean when you upgrade, you get such a little mana boost to your cap. Here is a formula I came up with in like 5 minutes, but I guess this one also works. So yeah, it's this simple to make the mana progression not too fast, while also just keeping the players attracted to the game, and content creators not having to cut off 30 minutes of mana upgrading. You could make the argument that having such a low cap upgrade per purchase makes the game harder, which is not particularly the most fun way to achieve hardness. I don't know. I don't think having the mana upgrade faster, I don't think that's gonna hurt anything. It's just gonna pace the game better. Now, number 8 is a bit controversial, not really. But I'm thinking of save slots. If you're going to play the game once, beat it, and forget about it, then of course save slots don't mean anything to you. But for me, somebody who enjoys replaying the game in different styles, I think save slots are going to be amazing, because imagine this, your first playthrough, it's always the most special one to you, it's probably the one that you get 100% on. And if you want to play the game again, you'll have to delete that. But what if I'm doing a challenge? What if I want to play the game without using my arrow tower? Then I would go into it and I would think what to buy. And I'm struggling, let's say, with maybe level 5 dragon. Let's say level 5 is gonna have a dragon. So I need to test stuff. Maybe I need to test my my wizards, how well they do when they're max upgraded. Maybe I need to test the level itself, what happens after that. Not just the moment where I switch save slots with the one that I have 100% on, so then I can see stats on my units, I can see the entire level, how it rolls out. It's gonna be really useful. Again, it's a bit niche, not everybody is gonna make a lot of use of it, but I think it's not gonna hurt to have it. And it's also gonna help with something later on the list. My number 7 though, shouldn't surprise you, it's pacing. The mana part is definitely a huge reason to why the game is paced so slowly. But again, you have mana generation. I would say it's pretty alright, but you could buff it a tiny bit, the natural generation of mana. I feel like every unit needs a buff to their movement speed. I feel like that's essential. Also, something else you need for better pacing is less cooldown on the units, so you would be able to use them more often. Now you may think this will be broken, and it will be in the current version, but imagine that the enemy is also better paced, so you get rushed more often with bigger rushes, stronger units, so you need to use more units, more versatile units, with stronger mana over time, so you need to think of what units to summon to defend from the enemy, and that way don't hurt yourself by just not killing everything with the arrow tower. You still have mana for more units, you have a counter push. That's what current Epic Core 1 suffers from, because you save up your mana, you only defend with your arrows, and then you make one rush and you win. And that is nowhere nearly as fun as it could be, in my opinion. And yeah, better pacing can definitely benefit the game greatly. As 6th place, I've put achievements. Call them Steam achievements. With additional save slots, it opens up a lot of opportunities. Maybe the game is normally balanced, so it's not gonna take much effort to beat it, the entire thing. Well, that's where you can push your limits. That's where you can maybe beat the game without upgrading units. That could be a Steam achievement, it's gonna be fun. And to make sure you don't cheat, the game is gonna keep track of it because it's Steam achievements. Yeah, I don't think I need to explain that. It's gonna keep track of how you play the game, so then it can give you a proper achievement that you'll be able to see for forever, for on and on. You can show it to people, I don't know, it's just gonna be fun. Of course, you can have achievements like beat the game, so everybody's gonna get that, but some niche achievements is what I'm asking for. Number 5, I've put balance. I don't know why I put it so far down, but balance is a key aspect to the relaunches. I would even say that it's the only thing that we're 100% sure is gonna happen. It's hard to make a balanced game where each unit has its scenario where it shines, and each enemy too. I don't know what much to say. Making the hobbits, not only the hobbits are always going to be usable, but making stuff like dwarves, elves usable later in the game, even if it's for one-off stage, it's gonna feel so great. Currently a lot of the units are just unusable, like golems are complete trash. You can make them such a good unit, you can make them basically a walking wall. They don't even need to attack. Maybe they could, but it's not gonna do a lot of damage, and then that's how you can balance it. So buff its HP, its HP could be more than a dragon. I don't see a problem with that, as long as its attack is bad enough to compensate. And of course the mana cost and all. That way you can turn the golem into a very usable unit, and it can synergize with maybe like wizards. And that's something I am looking forward to, trying out different strategies, and I hope something like that does happen at the end. For example, elves. I'm pretty sure elves are slower than hobbits. That's the one feature that they have as opposed to every other unit, is their speed. If you want a fast unit to stall, why would you use elves when you can use hobbits? The extra HP and attack don't do anything, because all they do is run out there and die to the boss. If you do end up making elves faster, you can still use hobbits. They're just gonna be slower, but cheaper. So if you have a lot of excess mana, you can stall the boss for more. But if you need to focus more on your army composition, your attacking units, your golems probably to defend, but if they don't die, then you don't really need hobbits. Okay, it's niche, it's hard to balance a game. I just hope Last Man can do it. That's all I must say. On number 4, the boss. The boss needs a change. It needs a change. I'm pretty sure we're all on board. For a game that came out in 2009, I'm not sure, its boss is good enough. For a game that's coming out in 2024, possibly 2025, hopefully not, having the boss be bigger unit is not that fun or interesting. How about that? You can make him buff his units, so when he is on a track, enemies near him will have more health, more damage, something like that. Or he could have a second attack where, let me think, maybe he charges for a little bit, and after that he unleashes a strong spell that does a lot of single target damage, or no, that would be stupid. A lot of concentrated damage on one certain spot. So the normal attack would be quite large for less damage, and then the second attack would be more damage for a smaller area of attack. You can also have something like, maybe he spits fire into the air and then it falls down, catching your hobbits in the back. I don't know, something like this. Now, of course, you will need to make sprites for that, and it's pretty much undoable, but I do feel like there needs to be some change to the boss to make it fun, and not big unit with more HP and more attack than the rest. Some synergy with the other enemy units, I think will be enough. And on to number 3. I've put that as better level design. I'm also pretty sure that one will happen too. Currently what we have in the Flash version. Level 1, which is goblins. Level 2, which is goblins and orcs. Level 3, which is goblins, orcs and trolls. Level 4, which is goblins, orcs and trolls. Okay, I'm not sure. But the point is that it's the same level, but every 1 or 2 levels they add a new unit to be spawned. That is something I took into mind when I did my Minecraft recreation of Epicor 1. And I took a lot of these things in mind. But this one, I really thought about it. I feel like it's good progress to just add a new unit every new level. But at some point, you run out of units. So I made it after level 7, which is the last level where you see a new unit. You get some special levels. Level 8 will be a spawn of goblins. Level 10 was pretty interesting. I made it so if you kill a troll, everything in, I think, 3 blocks of radius dies, including your tower, so that's something exciting. Of course, I don't need to brag about my level design, I didn't even do that well of a job. You can make great levels. I made one level where the AI of the enemy units wouldn't attack you. And I think that could be used. You can have just guard units, and that's what Epicor 3 and 4 have. Why not put it into one? It's not gonna feel out of place, I don't think. You can just put some units on the castle, so they guard you from the push. Maybe when you attack them, if they end up killing your push, they will have a counterattack, and that's gonna be interesting. So yeah, better level design. I'm praying to God for that. It really needs better level design. Number 2, here again I stole from my Minecraft recreation. It's better upgrades. What I mean by that is, currently, upgrades only affect 2 stats of each of your units. Is their HP and their attack. Yeah, that sounds about right? It sounds like nothing out of the ordinary. And that's where it mistakes. I would say, maybe not every upgrade, but at least the last one should be something more spicy and more interesting. So, I did try to make more unique upgrades, but I focused on the last ones. I made the Hobbit have second life, which is extremely overpowered. But I just didn't end up balancing it enough. For example, I made the Golem. I made it so if you kill him, he stuns the enemies near him for, what was it, 3-4 seconds? It's something unique, it's something fun. And with that, you essentially add another layer to the game. Where, yeah, before your golems synergized with your wizards, but now they synergize again because the golems stun. So maybe when they're stunned, you can use that time to get another frontline unit in front of the wizards. Maybe when the wizards, when they're at max level, maybe then they could do a burn effect. So they're stunned and they're burning right now. I don't know, something like that. It makes the game more complex, more fun, and yeah, I guess that's it. I really hope they at least consider this. I wouldn't be mad if it never ends up in the game, but imagine how good it will feel. And on to number 1, limited time events, or weeklies, or whatever you want to call them. Now this is a big step, it's a big leap. Epicor 1 is supposed to be a single player game, where you play once, play twice, maybe third time for some reason, then you can forget about it. So this one has a low possibility of happening. But imagine this, every week you have a custom level that you can play, that you can try to get high score. You can't beat it, you can do exceptionally well on it, but you can't win it. Maybe it could have a leaderboard, you would have an account I guess, which makes everything kind of complicated. But imagine, you can see yourself on the leaderboard, you can grind the leaderboard, you can get number 1, you can fight with your friend for a better score. There are endless possibilities of unique levels. The thing is, it's gonna progressively get harder and harder, so at some point you will die. The point is to see how far you can get into the level. What strategy is gonna dominate that one? That same strategy is probably gonna be rushed for next week. But it comes down to strategy, to how you think about it, how much you can extend on it, and Epic or 1, there aren't many things you can change about your setup. In fact, there are none of them, but the ones you use, there aren't too many things to choose from. So it's not going to be, I guess, this hard. Maybe after 4 LTMs I'll get first place, and I'll think it's a trash idea and I think it should be removed, but I don't know. There's only one way to find out, and I don't think it's ever gonna happen. In my opinion, it would be really fun grinding that leaderboard. You could make it solo, but then it wouldn't be competitive in a way. It wouldn't give you that dopamine strike of when you pass someone on the leaderboard. The leaderboard is a very important part of that. So while I do think it's not gonna happen, it's still fun to think about in a way. And yeah, I guess that's it from the video. Please tell me if you agree or maybe disagree. If you have something else that you want changed in Epic War 1, maybe I overlooked something, I missed something. I would be so glad to see what you think about all of that. I talked a lot about my Minecraft recreation of the game, so if you want to see how that ended up being, click here. And I'll be seeing you in the next one.